Welcome back to the broadcast dedicated to dissecting the classified documents that reveal how intelligence agencies are willing to challenge the most fundamental law of biology in the relentless pursuit of strategic continuity and knowledge preservation. Today, we abandon the physics of catastrophe and turn inward to the most complex system of all, the aging human body. We address the chilling fact that U.S. intelligence explored the possibility of achieving biological immortality, not for utopian public health, but for strictly operational reasons. We are analyzing the CIA's involvement in life extension and directed senescence reversal, treating aging as a curable systemic failure that, if fixed, could preserve the immense intelligence investment made in human assets. Our primary evidence is the declassified file CIA-RDP83-00100020010-5. This highly sensitive report is titled, quote, Biological Immortality and the Strategic Value of Extended Lifespan, end quote. It confirms that analytical resources were tasked with evaluating the biological, ethical, and operational consequences of halting the aging process in human subjects. The context here is the conservation of unique human capital. The biggest drain on high-level intelligence agencies is the loss of expertise due to retirement or death. A perpetual agent who retains knowledge for 50, 80, or even 100 years longer than normal offers an immediate, unassailable advantage in continuity and experience. The file's existence confirms that the finite nature of the human lifespan was viewed as a strategic weakness that required technological correction through radical biological intervention. The analysis focuses on two primary areas: targeted biological pathways for senescence reversal and the operational risk associated with introducing such extreme genetic manipulation. Let's drill down into the rigorous biological methodology of this file. The analyst demanded a path to immortality that was stable, reversible if necessary, and produced an operative free of debilitating age-related diseases. The file required an intense focus on telomere stabilization and DNA repair mechanisms. The research analyzed methods far beyond conventional gene therapy to prevent the shortening of telomeres, the protective caps on chromosomes that dictate cellular lifespan. The goal was to force cells to bypass the limit, allowing them to divide indefinitely. The document includes technical diagrams, highly redacted, showing the proposed metabolic bypass architecture. This confirms the research went directly into manipulating the deep biological clocks within the human cell. Crucially, the file dedicated an entire section to accelerated mutation and systemic instability risk. The primary scientific risk of forcing perpetual cellular division is the risk of cancer, uncontrolled, often chaotic mutation. The analysts were tasked with finding a pathway to endless division without the concurrent risk of fatal cellular instability. We must now examine the primary finding, the agency's assessment of the possibility of sustained extension. This is a critical excerpt regarding the confirmation of viability. Quote 1. Theoretical and in vitro modeling confirms the existence of biological pathways that, if successfully manipulated, could reduce the effective rate of human senescence by a factor of X, redacted, granting an operational lifespan extension of redacted years. Quote 2 from a section discussing asset preservation. Quote, the cost-benefit analysis overwhelmingly supports the resource allocation required for this research, as the preservation of unique operational knowledge represents an irreplaceable strategic asset. End quote. This is the true meaning of the file. It states that aging is not a destiny, but a biological mechanism that can be manipulated. The agency saw an opportunity to conquer one of humanity's oldest enemies, death, solely to preserve its most valuable intelligence assets. The focus shifted from how long until retirement to how do we make their knowledge permanent. We now address the chilling operational implications of this file, the creation and deployment of the perpetual agent. The most extensive redactions occur in the section titled Subject Selection Criteria and Long-Term Psychological Management, as well as integration into advanced operational planning. This suggests detailed discussions around who would receive this life-extending treatment and how a multi-century lifespan would affect their loyalty and psychological stability. Why redact psychological management? Because an agent capable of living for centuries would face profound psychological challenges, seeing the world change, watching multiple generations of colleagues and adversaries pass, which could lead to instability or detachment. The agency needed a psychological protocol to maintain the perpetual agent's effectiveness and allegiance. The concept discussed is the creation of a knowledge repository agent. Imagine an operative whose expertise spans the entire Cold War, the rise of the global network infrastructure, and the subsequent digital era. This living archive offers unparalleled situational awareness and historical context to current operations. The file details the requirement for a highly secure, decentralized management system for these perpetual agents, ensuring that their continuous life and unique knowledge remain protected and entirely under control of the agency. The strategic weaponization of this research is clear. It is a strategic continuity weapon. A state possessing this capability gains access to knowledge and expertise that can anticipate long-cycle geopolitical shifts, placing it generations ahead of any adversary reliant on mortal, time-bound human assets. We conclude our analysis of this document. The existence and scope of the research confirm that U.S. intelligence treated the directed reversal of human senescence as an actionable, high-priority strategic objective. The implication is that analysis moved into the sphere of radical biological engineering, seeking to overcome the biological limits of the human body for the sake of perpetual intelligence advantage. This research represents the ultimate weaponization of life itself. If this documented truth has opened your mind to the technological boundaries explored by those in power, we require your continued support. First, like this episode and leave us a detailed 5-star review wherever you listen. This is how the analysis cuts through the illusion of biological fate. Second, share this episode with someone obsessed with genetics, longevity, or the ethics of biological engineering. We need more sharp minds analyzing these documented facts. Next, we move from the complex biology of the human body to the physical electrical world of the atmosphere and non-conventional propulsion. We'll analyze the CIA's classified research into high-altitude atmospheric energy and communications, the agency's attempt to harness and utilize specific naturally occurring energy fields in the upper atmosphere for power generation, and untraceable non-radio communications. For next week's investigation, we'll dissect and analyze the CIA file RDP67-004-33R0001000020010-5-1, a complex file concerning electrogravity phenomenon and atmospheric coupling. What specific naturally occurring atmospheric energy did the analysts attempt to tap for propulsion or power? What were the measured properties of electrogravity phenomenon documented by analysts, and how did they plan to leverage these high-altitude energy sources to create vehicles or communications networks entirely outside of the conventional physics and regulatory framework? Tune in next for Project Remote View, Electrogravity and the High-Altitude Energy Tap. Until then, remember, maintain your vigilance, question the limits of your own lifespan, and keep your critical thinking sharp. I'll see you in the archives.